Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
And we're back. So we had a vacation. I was about to say restful, but for most people it was restful.
Yeah.
I had a restful Christmas. How's that? I decided not to do anything Dice Tower related on Christmas Eve.
Oh, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm very proud.
And also, on Monday, Tuesday, I didn't do anything Dice Tower. So that was 3 days.
3
That's pretty good
days
for me,
off
actually.
from work.
I'm
yeah,
proud of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's impressive.
Anyhow, but yeah, so we came off the Winter Spectacular. We hope you enjoyed that, but we have a full slate of videos coming out this week. This is the last week of 2022 because this is one of those really annoying years where the holidays fall on Sunday. It throws off everything, including school breaks here. Real pain in the neck because school break technically starts today.
Yeah.
Here in Miami. For whatever reason, it starts today and then goes up to a week after New Year's. But I guess that's... The good news is there was like no one on the road this morning. I like that.
Oh my gosh,
I
you're
didn't
right.
notice that, yeah.
Oh, there's no schools. I've never lived in a place where the school zones affect traffic so badly. There's also a school on every major road.
There is.
Right in the, like smack dab in the middle of it.
There is no way
Yeah,
for us
there's
to
a lot
go
of
from our
schools.
houses to work without going through a minimum of 2 school zones, I think. Unless you really, came around.
We go through one, but our daughter's school is a charter school, so it doesn't have a school zone. But it does have a very long carpool line that blocks traffic.
There is
So
that.
it's-
Well, anyway,
Give or take.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And happy Boxing Day.
That is
Oh,
true.
there
Today
you
is
go.
Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year, because that's happening this week. If you want to get yourself a New Year's Day present, you can come to Dice Tower East or Dice Tower West. Dice Tower West is only a few months away. Dice Tower East is in July, but don't delay. Get your tickets for those. I would tell you to get the Dice Tower Cruise, but you've waited too long. Those are gone.
Sorry.
But hey, lots of other things happening. In just 2 weeks from today, we're launching a Dice Tower Kickstarter. And that is going to be a good chunk of our funding over the course of the year. So if you would like to back us, keep that in mind. In fact, you can go to dicetowerkickstarter.com right now and subscribe or click there to be notified when we launch, that sort of thing. So now let's talk about contests, because we have a contest today. We have a contest for Orichalcum. Now, Orichalcum was on Mike's top 10 list and Z's top 10 list. That's 2 of the top 10 lists, and it wasn't on mine because I have not yet played it, but I've heard many good things about it. A short 4X game by Bruno Cathala. It looks really cool. You're building majestic temples, forging Orichalcum tokens. It's a good thing we talked about this game because I would not know how to pronounce it otherwise. Or win in the favor of Titans. You're just getting 5 victory points. First person to do that wins the game. So you can win a copy of this. This is for folks in the U.S., and all you have to do is email us at contest@dicetower.com. For the subject line, put the word Orichalcum, spelled on the screen there below. So follow that.
Spell it, Tom. Spell it.
correctly.
Orichall.
You're going to make a song out of it?
O-R-I-C.
No,
Dang it.
but this does
O-R-I.
remind me of something we'll talk about a little bit later
We
today.
should clap at the end.
And you have to answer
Welcome.
this question. How many Titan tiles are there? So use logic. I said tiles, so it's
Yeah.
more than 1. And it's probably less than 100.
I
Because you
know
have to
this
fit them
one.
in the box.
I know this one.
Really?
Do you?
I played it.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like it, actually.
Well, there you go. And so that is out now, or coming out very soon. So hopefully you will enjoy that one. And that's our contest. So let's get started. I think I've covered everything we need to talk about. We're glad to be back. Here we go.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University. What do we have here, Tarrant?
We have a game about beaks.
About birds. So this is by the Australian Phil Walker Harding, and this is one of his 3 games that he not only designed but published himself. So this is one of them. So the games are aimed for family, and this is about Australian birds. Actually, a card game about Australia's bird life.
Yes. It's quite interesting. It's a style of game that I haven't really seen in the modern hobby sphere. It's kind of like a basic meld building game, which was never one I really enjoyed growing up. So You're playing cards and you're trying to get a set of 5 matching cards in your hand, and when you do, you play those and score the points for them. Never a type of game I really enjoyed. But it's simple and it's got a really nice balance to it. There's 14 different types of birds. You use 7 in each game.
It's kind of like summer camp style, so which set do you want to do?
And they have different powers that will help you collect. So you can play one that lets you take 2 adjacent cards off the board to try to make your sets. You've got one that just lets you draw more cards from the deck and things like that. So yeah, it is very light, but it does that mechanism quite well.
And whether you want to, you want to use this power or you want to keep it as your collection, because set of 5 and you get the points.
Yeah.
So this BC Beaks, this was crowdfunded and successful and waiting for fulfillment. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I actually don't have a board game today, but I do have a mobile game that just recently came out, and that game is called Marvel Snap. What I like about Marvel Snap is it has really short turns, so like it's 6 turns, and the game is like 5 minutes. You place a few cards, and then you wait for the next person to do their turn. It's like super quick and easy. And the game is super easy, as I like to say in all my Dice Tower segments. Another thing I like is how you can make your cards look really cool. Like, you can make them, like, 3D by, like, just playing games. You can upgrade cards, which I think is really cool, and you can, like, make your cards look cool. And it's, like, a collection game, so you're also collecting cards on the way and collecting rewards and stuff like that. All that stuff. Another thing I like is how there's locations and you're placing cards at locations, but the locations change at every game, and the locations do different things every game. So, like, one may say this and another may say this. Like, one is literally, if you place a card here, it gets destroyed. So, yeah, it's different, and I like how it changes the game, and it's not just the same rigid thing that is the same every time. So I think that's pretty cool. And things I don't like is how this game is really weighed on microtransactions, so you can just buy a really fancy card, and it's just, yeah, it's a little much. And I get it's a new game trying to make money, but eh. And there's also a battle pass that should be more like $5, but it's like $10 the amount of a Fortnite battle pass. So yeah, those are the 2 things I like, but overall this game is awesome, and it's free on the App Store if you want to download it. Well, that's all for me today. Have a great day. Bye.
All right, so 40 years ago, we're talking about games from there because I forgot there was another week in the year. But hey, 40 years ago, when I was 6, several games came out.
I
So we're
know
just
your
talking about all
age.
of them. Yeah. Oh, so you can put that in that's not like a security question. How old are you?
How old are you?
Chris just wants to show he can do basic edition.
All right, well, not necessarily,
Got
because it depends where your birthday falls in the course of a year.
It's the end of the year.
Were you not
we assume
born
you
yet
had a
by this
birthday.
point?
It could be tomorrow. All right.
It's not tomorrow.
So here are the top ranked games as Board Game Geek. This year was bigger than I thought. So the highest ranked game at 129 is Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, blah, 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 one of them.
Wow.
I think it's the first one.
I didn't realize they were that old.
They are that old, and there's still a
Wow.
very strong fan base for them, to the point where when I said
Chronicles of Crime.
Chronicles of Crime replaced it completely, there was definitely some very loud feedback that I was a moron. I stand by my claims, but I do get why people like Sherlock Holmes. The whole idea, this was before escape rooms, open up the book, open up the map, you know, when you do stuff. It's,
Oh, you get that cool story that you're going through. And
for 40
figuring
years
out.
ago, this would have probably, if I had played this when I was a kid, I think I would have also thought it's one of the best games ever. So.
I'm
I
sure.
can see that.
I also would lose to Sherlock every time, because as an adult, I still do.
I play with people who I consider to be pretty brilliant, and we still get our butts kicked by Sherlock. So,
Yeah.
All right, number 301 is Survive, Escape from Atlantis. This, of course, probably was not 301 before the reprint came out from Stephen Bonagor and Stronghold Games.
Yeah. You thought it was higher. Stronghold brought it down, is what you're saying.
No, I don't think that, actually. I believe Survive may be the most played game of the year. I don't remember writing that down. But then 1476, big drop here, Empire Builder, which is the Cran Rail games. Have you guys ever played a Cran Rail?
No, we haven't.
I don't think so.
I think you guys might like it, maybe.
I'm sure it's pick up and deliver type stuff, right?
It is. It's pick up and deliver, but you're also drawing your trains on the map. And it works best with 2, mostly because there is absolutely nothing to do on someone else's turn. It has some pretty big flaws that I think would be fixed today. Like you draw your cards whenever you deliver something, you then draw new cards, which will then make you stop your turn in the middle of your turn.
Oh, yeah.
And carefully consider everything else you're going to do. And that should draw your cards at the end of your turn or whatever so that you think about them for the next turn.
I had some friends actually say that they would play Empire Builder while watching movies.
You can.
There's that little to do on each other's turn is what they said.
There is.
Really?
You don't affect
You
the other
don't
person
change
at all.
stuff?
Well, you can connect to a city before they do, and you can take a card like to deliver something before someone else. But honestly, yeah. It's an interesting game, and I like it, but it has not aged.
It's not aged well.
1857 is Rommel in the Desert, which I believe is the first block war game from Columbia Games.
Wow.
Columbia Games also that same year, this is not on the list, put out Slapshot, which is in the Dice Tower library. At 2,400 is Gunslinger, which was a very, very complex game about a duel. I've always heard good things about it. I've never played it. Then 3268, 40 years ago, and you can find this at any grocery/department store in the Midwest, is Sequence. If you live in the Midwest, you probably played Sequence. Have you guys played it?
I owned it. I think I played it. It was one of those that someone gave me a gift when I was a teenager, and I'm not sure if I ever actually pulled it out of the box or not.
Well, they were probably from the Midwest. Maybe not. It just cracks me up because that's where I got it, and I just remember I was like, this game is everywhere here.
No, I lived in Indiana for 2 years, but I never...
Have you seen it?
I've seen... Is that the one that is a board with different
Playing
card
faces?
And I think it's a double deck of cards, and then you draw cards and you play them to put a token out, and the first person to get 5 in a row wins.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
you know what? I
pretty
did play
simple.
it. I did play it.
Yeah, I've never played
It's actually not a terrible game. It's just okay, you know. But anyway, 3,567 from Mayfair Games, Family Business. One of the original Take That games. I'm assuming you haven't played that either.
I have not, no.
You
But I
don't need to go back and hunt it down.
I like that the people, though, from the Midwest in the chat are like just nodding their heads in agreement.
And then finally, I did the top ones that I knew about. 3,598, Illuminati from Steve Jackson Games.
Also have not played.
Nope.
I have not played Illuminati. I played Illuminati New World Order, which was their CCG version of the game. But in Illuminati, you are running a secret organization, and you can literally cheat in the game. It's very complex, and it also got Steve Jackson Games rated by the FBI. That's a true story.
Wow. Well, you can cheat in any game as long as you're not caught, Tom.
Yeah, but in Illuminati, it's legal and according to rules.
I prefer the Glitterati. That's what I'm all about.
Also, Broadsides and Boarding Parties came out this year. That's one of the big Game Master games no one talks about. Axis and Allies, Fortress America, 2 big ships attack each other. But this year, as a general whole, I consider to be a negative year because, on a small scale, Upwards came out. But more importantly, ranked 23,612, Phase 10 came out. A game which, in the last week, I've seen played 3 times. So, not by me.
Wow. Rough holidays at home, I guess.
Someone bought my son Mario Uno. Thanks. That was the in-laws.
Well, I played, last time we visited family, we played Uno Spinner. That was a travesty.
That was without me.
That was without you, actually.
Okay, because I was like, I don't remember this.
It's Uno with like a Wheel of Fortune type spinning thing in the middle that makes you do stupid things, and also the cards are this big.
Gross.
I hate everything you said. I hate everything you said. All right, anyway, 40 years ago, actually pretty important year because Sherlock Holmes, Survive, Empire Builder, all 3 of those are still around in some form today. Rommel in the Desert started to block things. Family Business helped put Mayfair on the map, and Phase 10 helped ruin modern gaming.
I was like, Sequence and Phase 10 are still on the map.
That's true, they are.
They're
absolutely.
And so
well known.
Is Upwards still around?
As of a few years ago, I would still see people picking it up from stores and stuff, so yeah.
Anyway, that's 40 years ago.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the Board Game Librarian, flipping some pages and flipping some cubes is my segment from the page to the table where I pair books and board games together that share a common theme. I've been on a Star Wars roll lately, if you hadn't noticed. So this week I am going to feature Kanan. Alright, so if you haven't watched Rebels yet, and you should go watch it. It's amazing. It has Ahsoka in it. This kind of talks about Kanan before he was Kanan as we know him in the series. Story starts off with kind of some background with him and his Jedi Master, and then of course a heart-wrenching scene when she is killed and he's able to run away, and his life after that. A good read, a good quick read. I liked it a lot. So again, there's probably a bunch of different Star Wars games I could have paired with this. There are no Rebels games. Please, someone, a Rebels game, like a pure Rebels game. I need some hair on Kanan in my life. It could be Star Wars Imperial Assault. So Kanan is a playable character in here. A lot of the Rebels folks are. And while it's been years since we've played this one, I think we kept hoping there'd be a better app of this like they did with Mages of Madness or now Descent. This is still we look at it every once in a while, we're like, are we going to get rid of this? And I'm like, no. So it's a dungeon crawler. It's got a lot of story base going on with it, and there's a half a gajillion expansions for it. But I still really like and hoping one day that we can play through most of this. That's all for this week, friends. Happy
All right, so the Dice Tower this week, we have a lot of different things going, finally. Different reviews, deities, Santa versus Krampus, Applejack. The biggest review, well, I don't know if it's the biggest review, but one of the biggest reviews, I'm finally reviewing Frosthaven.
That's the biggest review
It's
this
at
week,
least the
Tom.
biggest box review.
Oh, my word, is it. I'm doing two things about Frosthaven. I'm going to review Frosthaven. I'm also going to compare Frosthaven to Gloomhaven, two separate different videos.
Are they similar?
They're slightly.
Oh,
slightly.
okay. Well, I'll watch that one.
It almost makes you want to come out with Firehaven. Would you get sued if you did that? It was just a completely different game.
Bloomhaven.
Bloomhaven?
Yeah.
That's about flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like this.
We likely have a top 10 coming this week. I have it all set up, but give us some time to put things together. But keep an eye out. We'll announce it on Facebook if we're doing it. But
Is it
the voting one.
So yeah, not a top 10.
Oh, it's not a top 10. It's a voting thing. Well, it's going to be a top 1. I have it all ready to go. But I just want to make sure that we can put that up because we are very busy here. Like I said, we're getting ready for the Dice Tower Kickstarter and the Dice Tower Cruise. But we do want to have a lot of content for you. And I'll be doing a Q&A at noon. But before the Q&A, in 43 minutes, Z is going to be playing Marvel Snap again. You just heard about Marvel Snap. Go watch Z whoop up. Wouldn't that be funny if he played?
Oh, if he played, what's his Code's Nanotype Kid.
Yes, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be
Oh my
awesome.
goodness.
Everyone get on Marvel Snap.
And you might be able to
You
play,
might be able to play
Z.
Z.
That's,
This office is going to shut down for an hour, Tom.
I'm just sitting there refreshing. Again, I'm like, that's not Z. I quit the game. Get in. It's still not Z. Quit the game.
Oh, you're a terrible
I'm going to be down to
person.
level 1. Not that I'm that far away from it anyway. All right. Yeah, there's an At the Table tomorrow. So lots of different live stuff. We'll be back with crowd surfing and a board game smorgasbord on Thursday. So lots of stuff coming your way this week.
Re-uploading from the...
That's true.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Mike. Yes. So starting today, is it today?
Yep.
Yeah, starting today, every day we're going to be re-uploading some of the smaller top 10 lists from the Winter Spectacular. Because a lot of them are kind of in the middle of the big blocks, and it's fun to watch live, but if you just want to pick a specific one and watch it, we're going to put up 2 a day for the next 20 days? No, not that. That's too many. But a lot of days.
For a while.
Yeah.
We're also doing that on DTV audio as well, so if you want to listen to the audio version of it, those will be popping up.
Yeah. So there you go. Lots of stuff coming your way. Let's keep going.
Assalamu alaikum. If you have played Azul Master Chocolatier version, then you will know that it comes with special factories in which The special factories, you will flip them and you will find special abilities on them. Sometimes they will let you pick up a special kind of tiles which will get attracted to one of the factories. Some will let you put even 5 tiles on one of the factories, or let you take tiles with no penalty. So if you like those kind of variants, then there is a file called Special Factories variant available on the BGG for your regular Azul as well. You can print them out and then put them on, either use them as separate factories or use them, stick them up on the backside of your regular Azul factories, and then just flip as many of them as you like and play with that variant instead. So if you like that concept, get the Special Factories variant from the Azul BGG file section. That is for me. Happy gaming.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week I am continuing on with my top 1 series of board games for a video game genre. Now, the last time I was here, I spoke about open world games and I connected it to Sleeping Gods. This week, I'm talking about MMORPG, so massive multiplayer online role-playing games, which a lot of times are open world games, but not always. I'm talking about things like World of Warcraft or Pillars of the Earth, things like that. So what is my number 1 board game for those types of video games? I'm going with Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Can you see me? Anyway, this is a fantastic 4X style game set in a fantasy world. So you are playing as some sort of faction. And the reason I am picking this as my number 1 for an MMORPG genre list is because this one has all the makings of like leveling up, upgrading, figuring out your path as to what you want to focus on. And you get to still like explore the land, and you get to fight other folks, both the environment and players, which is a lot of times something that happens in MMORPGs. This one also just makes you feel like you are in that faction, right? So it's kind of like building up a character in a way, except you're building up an entire faction of characters, which is pretty dope. So that is my number 1 game for MMORPGs. Thank you so much for watching. If you like, you could check out mine and my brother's content called Room 51. I'll catch you next time.
All right, let's take a look at another shelf in the Dice Tower library. This one, very pointed towards one company. Here we go.
Okay, looking at shelf 2D here. We're still in the square boxes, but I got a couple nature-themed games. We have Roar, King of the Pride. Oddly enough, one I've never played. Wild Serengeti. This is a new game about kind of animal placement. Via Nebula, a Martin Wallace game. It feels like a train game, but it's not. That's not the theme, but it definitely feels like one. Dragon Castle, which has some really nice mahjong-style tiles in it about putting things in patterns. Overboss, very similar to that. This is based in the Boss Monster, but it's a very different game about putting tiles with monsters on top of them. If you like Cascadia, you'll probably like this one. Libertalia, this is part of the Stonemaier collection. You'll see there's several Stonemaier games on this shelf. This is the reprint of that game. I really debated on getting rid of the old Libertalia as to keep this one, but it was a tough call, but I kept the newer one. The Specialist, this is a tough game to find. From Explorate, and also, you know, this one here is another one where you roll dice. Oh no, the Specialist, I'm sorry. The Specialist is not that one. This is about getting together a group of spies. Explorate's a company you guys should keep in mind. They're a very good company. All right, then the rest here is almost all Stonemaier games. We have 2 copies of Viticulture, not because it's super popular, but because one of them has the expansion in, which I think is essential, but not everyone might do that. Euphoria, the very first Stonemaier game to make a splash. Dice placement. Charterstone. This one might not be long for the library, just because this is a complete version of Charterstone, one I specifically made to play. I think it's fantastic, but I don't know how people play it. Tapestry, which just went down to 2 people, or went down from 2 copies, to 1 copy. So that's going to change things up, I suppose. Very popular game still, though. And then a new one here from Game Brewer, just mostly because it fit on this shelf, and that's Stroganoff. So that's what's on shelf 2D.
Tom, please tell me some games got rearranged.
They did.
Right
They
after you
did.
finished filming that video. Okay.
Of course.
Reorganization.
Well, this one, for me, isn't even close. It's Viticulture. Viticulture is one of my favorite games. I like a lot of games on this shelf, but Viticulture is amazing, and especially, it's one of the few that I have the expansion in and won't take it out because I will not play Viticulture without that expansion. I have a copy for people who do, but...
I'm honestly surprised you have Charterstone in there. I don't know if because we've played the Legacy, we get how it works, but I don't know if I as a person would just pick it up and be like, let me figure out these rules for this game.
Isn't there... that's a good point. Is there a rule book that has all the rules in it?
You sticker the.
Yeah,
the
you
sticker
sticker them in, yeah.
The thing, though, is if you play, and I've taught it to people where I played the game with people who've never played through the Legacy, and they're like, we don't care. And I've made a very nicely balanced board. It works really well. It's a good worker placement game, and it's not overly complicated. In fact, it feels like, actually, I shouldn't say feels, I would put money down almost, that it started as that big game, and Stegmaier was like, let's make
Legacy
it Legacy. Because the
Spread it
first
out.
expansion for Viticulture, he called Legacy, which was 100% not Legacy. It was just a bunch of modules. He's like, we'll play them in order. That doesn't make it Legacy.
Yeah.
But that's almost what Charterstone feels like. Yes, there's some permanence to Charterstone, but it also feels like they're like, here's a new worker. That's not that big of a spoiler. And, okay, just they all are at the
Here's a
beginning.
new thing. This can go instead of this thing.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I really liked Charterstone, but it's funny.
It's almost in the library for me, but if push comes to shove, I might pull it out at some point.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind trying somebody else's map, but it's been so many years now that I don't remember what our map looked like. So I always thought that would be kind of fun to be like, oh, your world looks like this.
Well, this one was not my map. This one's because in Charterstone near the end, you start putting buildings on the board that are not very good buildings, but are worth points for you.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that on the map you can play.
No, absolutely.
They're all very useful buildings.
Yeah, I remember that when we were playing it, we had watched the Dice Tower or something about you doing that, and we were like, oh, that's a great idea, and then we never did ourselves.
It's in the app, right?
My map is in the app, yes, but you guys are both not telling me your favorite game on the show.
Oh, that's true.
Is it Charterstone? That's what I'm hearing.
No. It's Viticulture for me, but I also really like Tapestry. I mean, there's just a lot of good games on that shelf.
It's Viticulture for me.
Woo, three-way
All the same.
crossover.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's just such a great standout game. My underrated game on the shelf might be Via
Charterstone?
Nebula. I think Via Nebula is way fun. It's a Martin Wallace game. It feels like a Martin Wallace game. It feels kind of like a Steam or a Brass type of route
I
building
agree.
thing.
A lighter one, but
A lighter
Yeah,
one,
a lighter
but with
one.
with like a really fun theme.
Because you're exploring through this mist and stuff.
Mike,
Yeah,
is your
it's
favorite
fun.
Tapestry?
No, it's still Viticulture.
It's still Viticulture. Okay.
Viticulture, all right.
Four-way tie.
I like Tapestry.
Let's keep getting people in here until
Well, I don't. Well, Z likes Viticulture a lot. Roy probably wouldn't. Roy would pick the specialists,
Libertalia, maybe?
Oh, Libertalia, maybe. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that's best of the shelf.
Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back on the breakfast. It's holidays time, and you know what that means. Time for some family card games. How about a new one from 25th Century Games and designer Bruno Cathala called Oh My Brain? Zombies, card games, families. Sounds perfect. Let's get right to the table and see how it plays. In Oh My Brain, players get a pile of these brain tokens, and the object of the game is to have as many brain tokens as you can when the game ends. The game ends when somebody runs out of cards. Each player is going to get 6 cards in their hand and 3 more in their cemetery, and they can start grabbing from their cemetery as soon as they start getting low on the cards in their hand. The cards are a little bit unique. There are blue cards and the pink cards. The blue ones are the main cards, but the pink ones have special powers. We've got the mosquito, we've got the spider, and we've got the mouse. The mosquito is fun because what it does is, this is a typical ladder climbing game. You have to play higher than the player who played before. So if somebody played a 2, you're going to want to play a 3 or higher. And you want to play doubles if you can, because then you can actually pass some of the cards to the other players. But the mosquito lets you reset that. So instead of worrying about beating a higher card, you can play that 0 and it resets the countdown. Plus, there's some lanyap. Some of the cards have this pink marshmallow die on that. And that's for this die. The die roll creates a little bit of chaos in the game in that special effects can happen. It can be something as simple as stealing a brain token from somebody else, or taking another turn, or even switching hands with someone. So that's Oh My Brain, designed by Bruno Cathala and Theo Riviere. And it's got some lanyap, that little marshmallow die that really creates some chaotic situations while you're playing. Until next time, les amis, bon temps roulé.
Waltzing Matilda. No, it's not Waltzing Matilda. All right. So
That's almost the national anthem of Australia. It was actually put up to referendum.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Just as a heads up, nothing should be put up to referendum, or else you end up with Bodie McBoatface. All right? I never understand why. You can put things up, but then you can say, we can also choose to not accept the results. Or we can throw out.
Yeah, there's an ultimate,
veto
like,
power
no.
is necessary, yeah.
Anyhow, so Matilda, is a movie from the 90s, I believe. I'm assuming you guys have seen it. The one with Danny DeVito?
Yeah, is she was she a cartoon originally and more yellow?
No.
No,
Was that
you're thinking
Matilda?
of the girls who's like goes to a school with nuns.
Yeah, that's
maybe it was Matilda. Was it Matilda?
Isn't that Matilda?
No, that's not what this is. This is
Okay.
a Roald Dahl book. Who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate
Yeah.
Factory?
Okay.
He also wrote The Witches, right?
Yes.
And that big one.
Yes.
Anyways.
Anyway, the BFG.
BFG, there you go.
BFG.
Yeah, big friggin'
The
gun.
original Matilda movie from, I think it's the 90s or it's the early aughts, but it's somewhere in that area, with Danny DeVito as the parents and the little cute girl in it who was in a lot of movies at the time, is a superb movie.
I actually haven't seen it.
I mean, it really is. Madeline. Madeline is the.
Oh,
people are saying
Madeline.
You're right. So this is Matilda. Anyway.
Okay.
This is. It's not really a spoiler. It's about a girl who has terrible parents and a terrible, terrible principal. Like, idiotically over the top, as Roald Dahl does with his characters. Mm-hmm. And then she gets telekinetic powers. That sounds like a very weird thing, and it is a weird book, but it's a great movie. This
Charles Xavier then comes in, Matilda.
recently, in the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, maybe longer than that, there was a Broadway musical written by the guy with long red hair from Australia.
Carrot Top. Waltzing
No.
Matilda.
No, what's his name? Minchin. Tim Minchin. Who you may have seen. He's a comedian. Anyway, I didn't even realize.
What other music has he done?
You know what? Look it up offline. He has, anyway, some interesting stuff. But anyway, the musical's very good. I like it a lot. And now they finally made a Netflix version of that, which is interesting because the Matilda movie, the plot line of that movie, which is different than the book. The book is, it's pretty close. Something with Roald Dahl, they must have made in his contract, because he's dead now, but there must be something where the books need to be close, the movies need to be close to his books. Because, you read a book, then there's a movie and it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And even Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, there was a lot of changes made, but they stay pretty true. And the Matilda one was one of the closest to the books I've ever seen.
Okay.
This follows there's like several sequences in this movie that are also in the 90s movies, like they're very similar. Except this one has music, and the music's very well done, although, and you said this about Spirited, it's not true, but it is true of Matilda. There's only like 3 or 4 songs that are memorable. My kids recognize them because they're on my playlist, but they agreed that some of the songs are they're okay.
We just watched Spirited again last night. I showed it to Wendy for the first time. I still can't remember a melody from it.
I can remember all of them. Do you want to have a ripple, ripple, ripple? I'm telling you.
I remember that line because he's like in the dude's face.
I just remember it's like, that's my view from here, or my view is.
I really like that.
I like that.
I like every song from Spirited. I think they're all great. But anyway.
For some reason, they're not memorable. Okay, but anyway, so I'll go into Matilda thinking that too. That like.
I think you will think that even more strongly with Matilda. There's actually, in retrospect, a lot of musicals are that way. Like Les Mis is one of my favorite musicals. And I just watched it with my daughter to show it to her, and I was like, wow, a lot of these songs are really similar in this. They're like...
Well, they have that motif,
Right. But the motif...
that goes throughout.
the motif sometimes I was like, oh. And actually, I even noticed it even more in Phantom of the Opera. Because Phantom of the Opera has Masquerade and Phantom of the Opera and the love song, but there's also a lot of songs in there where it's like, oh, okay, that's just a riff on one of the other songs.
This is the song when I walk into the room.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, this movie's good. I think the girl, she's very talented. Like, she can sing, dance, and act.
And move stuff with her mind, apparently.
She's a little angrier in this one, which makes sense because parents are jerks, and so is her teacher. She's not as cute as the other girl. Trunchbull is played by Emma Watson, I think, but you cannot tell because she's wearing that much makeup and stuff. But she's also not as good as the Trunchbull, that's the name of the character, from the first one. Overall, it's good. It's a good production, high production values, and they do some weird, I'm singing a song and some dream sequences happening type thing, and she's flying through the sky stuff, and that looks good.
Is Danny DeVito still in it?
No, he's not.
I'm out.
Yeah, it was funny because
Does
actually
Danny
you read the
DeVito
story,
sing?
the little girl from the first one talked about how Danny DeVito, and I forget the name of the woman who was his wife, were such nice
They were really
parents to her.
genuinely nice to the actress. Like,
Yes.
like as people outside of the filming, yeah.
Yeah, they treated her really well. But on that movie, you're like, oh my word, they're like the worst parents. They're like, you're reading a book? And he rips the book up, like, stop trying to be smarter than us. Watch more TV. It's really funny. It's just over the top. But anyway, I liked it. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I was expecting more. I don't know what I was expecting. All my kids were all kind of the same way. They're like, that was pretty good. Because everyone was really pumped about it. Coming out on Christmas Day. All right.
It's because you were expecting a girl in a yellow dress.
No, I was not.
So we have a 7-year-old daughter. Would you recommend that we watch the 90s film, or do you think the music, like, if we had to pick between the two, this or that, lightning round?
I don't know, actually. It depends on if you want to see a musical or not. I think that would do.
Which one's funnier? Which one hits like those funny kid moments?
I mean, one of them has Danny DeVito.
I think
That's
they both
true.
do. Danny DeVito's such a good bad guy. He really is. Yes, I know that Danny sings a song about the troll toll. All right, anyway, that is Matilda, and then I will watch Rogue. Is it Rogue One? No, not Rogue One.
Andor.
I'll watch Andor for next week. All right, here we go.
Good morning, Board Game Breakfast. My name is Amanda Polk, and usually I'm here telling you about a game that I'm really looking forward to playing, but today I wanted to share my thoughts on a game that I was looking forward to, and then I got to play it, and how it went. So today, that game is Skate Summer. This is a game that I backed on Kickstarter for two reasons. One, because I have a 9-year-old skater in my life, and I thought he would be really excited to play this. And two, because just generally, I think Pandasaurus Games work for me. I've just liked their games. I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. And it checked out on both. The day that this arrived, my son helped me unwrap it and punch it and was so excited about all the little skater minis and looking at the cards with the names of skate tricks on it. He likes to play board games, maybe not as much as I do, but this is certainly one that's gotten him excited about playing games together, which is a win on its own. On the Pandasaurus side, I think I've liked a lot of Pandasaurus games. This one I think is really fun and has like some neat mechanisms going on and does have that, well, for me has been like a Pandasaurus theme of like lots of little bits to keep track of. But once you get all those bits sorted and set up, the game is a lot of fun. So that is Skate Summer, one that I was looking forward to and have been enjoying playing with my skater. Hope you have a great breakfast. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Happy breakfast, everyone. I've just got an idea for you of a game that you could easily play at Christmas with a small group of people. You don't necessarily want too many, and that is MicroMacro Crime City. Now, there's 2 sequels to this, so, you know, if you've finished one, you can go on to the next, because you're not going to really be replaying these. But effectively, it's Where's Wally, but as a game because it's got little storyline elements. The way it works is that it's sort of snapshots in times rather than time. So what I mean by that is it's not one big map picture and that's it. You can sort of follow the movement of people across that map because it's not just where they are now, it's where they've been as well. So you can sort of follow this person, it's like, oh, they're there. Then they were here along the street. They were getting out of that car there. Oh, that's them there in that car over here. And that's how you're following them around and you're deducing who did these crimes, what happened to different people and stuff like that. The later ones have little sort of references of whether they think it's sort of mildly inappropriate for kids, just to give parents that option to sort of go, maybe let's not do this story. Because basically each of these boxes come with at least 10 different cases that you're going to be trying to solve. And you're working through either like 4 cards or 14 cards and sort of following bits and finding out information across it. It's just the sort of interesting sort of twist on a Where's Wally that enough people can enjoy. That is MicroMacro, not MicroMicro, as it gets mixed and jumbled up a lot. But what are you planning on playing this Christmas? Let us know in the comments section below, and happy holidays and enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
Well, the rest of your breakfast is right now because we're done. 20 minutes. Z will be live doing What's Happening, and then I'll be back with a Q&A at noon. And we got other reviews and things going up today and tomorrow and the rest of the week. We're back, everybody.
Yay.
Have a very, very happy New Year. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I don't know why you said have a happy New Year. We're back all week, folks. I'm Chris Yee.
What is the last breakfast before we do that?
Got it. For those of you that watch only Board Game Breakfast, we love you.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.